Yeah. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah. Easy. All right, bring it back. Let me see.
Ah, son of a...
How did you get it uneven to begin with? Were you wearing one shoe or something?
Yeah, man.
Oh, hey. Oh, hey, we're recording.
No,
No.
one dick is longer than the other, so it was kind of hard. Yeah.
What?
What?
One dick's. You have two.
One dick
All
longer
right.
than the other.
Hey, everybody. Hi.
Hi, what's up?
I'm Tony G. That's Alex Rios. This
Yeah,
is another episode of This is the Future.
unfortunately.
Hey.
This is episode 8, I believe.
Yeah.
We don't really need a countdown, but I think we have been. So man, keep on our traditions. Speaking of traditions, it's time to drink a beer, right, Tony? What is that? Is that a wine cooler? What is that?
No, man, it's Yingling Gold Pilsner.
What is
Good.
that? All right.
Oh.
All right. Mazel tov.
Yeah. Jewish things.
Yeah. Cheers, Donnie. Jewish things. Right. We're back. We're here. I feel like we haven't recorded in a while. You know why? Because the magic of recording is we recorded last week's episode like a week before.
Ooh. And we still don't have anything new to talk about. No, just kidding.
I know, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks, nothing. It's hard to find things to talk to like, even if I just visited a family member of mine and I was like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. You know, I mean, if you want to hang out. And he's like, yeah, I'm not really doing that. I'm like, okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm not really. Like you're just not hanging out. Like
right. He helped me
like because of the coronavirus, or is it just because he doesn't want to hang out?
It's like, yeah, I haven't really been doing anything since March. And I'm like, yeah, but you haven't called me in like 3 years. Like, yeah, COVID. I'm like, oh, okay. Saw it coming.
That's the beautiful thing about this pandemic is it gives you don't need an excuse. You're just like, yeah, you know, fucking COVID. I know the world's on fire and all, but I've been having a good time keeping warm by the fire. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, man.
The whole world's just like on fire, but like I gotta be honest, I've been having the time of my life. Like
really
hanging out at home, drinking beer with you on a Zoom call that we post on YouTube. You know, it's fucking great. Having the time of my fucking life.
We're doing it. We did it. We worked it out. I mean, this really is the future. Like my other cousin said, do you want to go to an open mic? I'm like, yeah, maybe next year. What the fuck?
Right.
No. There's one open mic. There's one open mic in Delaware. I'm like, no. And it's Delaware. No. What?
I don't want to go to Delaware.
All red flags. Because then, even though Delaware is 10 minutes across, it's 10 minutes that way, you have to wait 14 days to come back to Pennsylvania. I got to work. I don't have time for that. All that for an open mic with face masks and no one laughing? I'm good.
Right. Well, I mean, hey, if you want to get down to it, we're used to that besides the face mask, so, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't even hear the boos. No.
I know, right? No, the way I see it is like I live with a bunch. We talked about this. I live with a few people, and I don't feel like it's worth it to maybe get them sick just so I could talk about my dick on stage. You know what I mean? Like,
that's why I said this is kind of I mean, a lot of people are doing podcasts and Zoom calls and whatever. Just accept it. Come up with an idea and slap it on the internet.
Yeah. And what an idea we came up with.
I mean, we came up with one.
Well, if you watched last week's episode, or if you didn't, just so you know, we listened to and then we are now reviewing the newest album, not so new anymore, but the newest one from the band Gojira. It is their record is called Magma. Sorry, this beer is fucking my day up.
Go. What are you drinking?
Just a Miller High Life.
I was gonna
Champagne.
buy that.
I
Ooh.
like it. I like it because of the can. I think the can's cool.
Is that the champagne of beer? Wait, who? That's a
Yeah.
champagne glass?
Yeah.
That's the champagne of beers?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Fucking A, man.
Anyway, sorry, I had a beer question. Back to the band.
No, that's cool. Yeah, the band, man. I'm wearing their shirt. Thought it was appropriate. It's got an eyeball on it and some crazy designs.
Makes sense.
I've loved this band for a long time. I've seen them before. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you were familiar with them.
No,
What do you think?
So I think it's the second track on the album that we listened to. The music's awesome. It can be heavy, but I don't know. It was not that heavy to me. And
Right.
then at one point in there's a line he says, and I've heard it like 3 or 4 times, and I'm gonna get it wrong, but he's like, "When you change yourself, you change the world."
Yeah, I was just gonna bring that up there. That is song 3, and it's called "Cell."
Fair enough.
Yeah, "Cell."
Right.
Yeah, like I'm glad you brought that up because I was gonna talk about that too.
That's what I liked. To answer your question, as soon as I heard that, I really started paying attention to the lyrics.
Right, because they're not like a typical metal band. When you think of metal, like a lot of it's satanic or about
No, I was
dark
surprised.
things, and a lot of their shit it's positive. Like,
Yeah.
like just that line in itself, you got to change yourself before you could change the world. Like, if that isn't so fucking true nowadays, like, you got to
Right.
change yourself so you can change the world. Like that's it really hits home for the time that we're in. I feel like.
Right. I thought that maybe you picked it because of what we had talked about last week. It fit in nicely.
No, honestly, not on purpose, but
I like it.
the reason why I picked them is because I fucking love Gojira, and I love metal, as you know, and I want to probably in the next couple of albums, no spoilers, are going to be probably metal. So I wanted to ease people in to a heavy band, but it isn't super heavy.
Right.
Because last week I almost picked Meshuggah.
Whoa.
But last second I was like, no, do Gojira. Don't fucking hit him hard. Like let's put the tip in and then throw it all the way in. You know what I mean? So. But yeah, man. So yeah, if you listen to the other lyrics in that song, it's just super positive. It's like it's just talking about being in a nightmare and trying to get out of it. And I could be completely wrong because I haven't looked it up, but I think what I get out of it personally is it's like about suicide. I think like you gotta get yourself out of this. No one else could do it for you, kind of thing.
Right.
And you gotta change yourself so you can change the world. Like kind of think that's what they're saying. I could be wrong. That's just what I get out of it. That's my interpretation. But what do you think about the band as a whole? You like the music and shit?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I would excuse myself, but we're drinking beer, so excuse myself.
Yeah.
So musically, honestly, it wasn't. I mean, if it's metal, it's metal. I mean, so it rocks. But when I heard him like speaking clear English with a message, that's when I was like, "Oh, right on, man! Like this is good. I would listen to more of it."
Right.
Honestly, it's kind of. I'm pretty easy when it comes to stuff with instruments in it.
Right.
If it rocks, it rocks. That's the kind of stuff I would listen to at the gym too. A lot of traditional. I bet Gojira probably well. I would imagine that's a big gym band. Like a lot of people listen to that in their headphones.
Sure.
I could see that.
Um,
Honestly, I mean, I only know what you sent me, and I've just been listening to that kind of secretly because I've had family over and whatnot, but
Right.
I wasn't able to go nuts with it. But now I can. So
Yeah, totally.
But
You
I don't
should
know,
have.
man. It sounded good to me. It works with drugs. If any of you guys are curious, because I always do the drug test on it. Because I thought track. You said it was track 3. I thought that was track 2. So that should tell you
That should tell you. Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about the same one, I think that song. Yeah, I think that's "Cell."
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Or
I mean,
the Cell.
but when you just I like to when you give us an album to listen to, I just start at track 1 and let it go, and usually just have a pipe hit or something and just kind of see what it does for me.
Right.
I mean, it put me asleep and then it woke me back up. As far as, if I'm being, I want me to be completely honest. Like that's what happened. I was like,
Right.
it's fucking cool, man.
The weed probably put you asleep, and the music.
Well, I mean, yeah, but if it's so good that I can go into a fucking weed nap and wake up and
wake
still be
up.
like, and
Right.
the creepy thing is like me, I rock in my chair, and I've rocked for so many years that I can rock while I'm asleep. So like I woke up and I'm just like, whoa, this is still good music. Right on.
I've seen you do it, you freak. It's pretty cool.
You should see me eat cereal.
I have.
But no, I like the album, dude. So you listen to a lot of metal, as you say, and I agree with you. Why these guys for you? Why are they such a big deal for you?
They're just they're unique in a way where they have a lot of like old style of this kind of like death metal, this style of metal, and then like newer metal. They're kind of like to me and to a lot of like bands. I've heard bands talk about Gojira, and they say they're kind of like a newer band, kind of new, but they have like some old style, like late 90s, early 2000s, like that's what they have that influence, but they also have like a newer influence. So I think they kind of cross both lines. You know what I mean?
Are there any more popular bands you can give me an example of as far as like older, like what they sound like coming from the late 90s? What bands they
Meshuggah. I know but they are like Meshuggah because they have the off time signatures. They have like they're playing a couple like 2 beats at once. They're
right.
Breaking the rules a little bit, and then and Meshuggah still plays too, so they're also in the mix as far as new bands too. But I would say I would relate them to Meshuggah a lot, and a little bit of Chimera, even though Chimera is a little bit of a douchebag band, but they have some pretty cool, some heavy shit. So I would kind of put them in the middle between Chimera and Meshuggah. And another band would be Animals as Leaders. I feel like they're an instrumental band. They're an instrumental band, and I think it's 2 guitar players and a drummer, and both guitar players play like 7 or 8 string guitars, and it's metal, but it's all like noodling, like they do crazy scales.
Right.
So yeah, those would be my comparisons, I would say.
Right. Well, I dig it. I don't really listen to Meshuggah or Chimera too much, to be honest with you, but I dig this one. I had a Meshuggah album when I was really pissed off at the world, and it was good. Then I got into dope, and now I have all the weird stuff.
Sure.
Like 17-minute jams with a guy on bongos or some shit. I don't know. Whatever you got. I like those long jam. I'm a jam guy. I'm all about those long fucking songs, man. That's just where I'm at. So any metal, like, do you know of a lot of metal bands that like would go off like that? Like I can't think of anybody, and I don't know a lot, but that would go longer than like a 4 or 5 minute song.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm probably missing it right at the top of my head, but
well, Gojira definitely
as I thought. Wait a minute, yeah. Wasn't one of their tracks like 13 minutes?
Yeah, they have and then their album before this, they have a couple like 10-minute songs. Like
right,
Meshuggah has long songs. A lot of metal bands like Tool. Tool has fucking long fucking songs. You know, it's pretty common.
Well, they don't. Yeah, but they don't radio play them. And I listen to a lot of metal when like Sirius Radio. I used to drive truck, and that's when I listened to metal. And they didn't play 10-minute jams. Like Slipknot and Korn. I'm just thinking of those. Not that they didn't do anything like that I can think of.
No. Like metal is kind of known for having longer songs for sure.
Would you say that Slayer has jams like that?
Yeah, they probably have like 6 to 8 minute songs. I'm sure. I'm sure they have 10-minute plus songs. It's punk rock. Punk rock has the short songs. So
yeah, like No Effects, like 1:30, but they're awesome songs. I was just listening the other day, and I thought about when we went and saw them. That shit was great. I like that band. We're not talking about but anyway, we'll talk about them another time. But Alex and I had fun seeing them too. Have you seen?
That was a good time.
Have you seen these guys, Gojira?
Yeah, I've seen Gojira. I saw them 2017, and it's kind of a cool story. I went and saw them with my friend Alan, and we already had tickets to go. And that night, I had a show at one of the clubs here in Portland, and I was opening for a guy named Bill Santiago. He's a comic out of New York, and we kind of keep in contact every once in a while, like Merry Christmas or whatever and shit like that. He's a really cool guy. I got to know him a little bit, and he's pretty rad. And he's not a metalhead. He's not that kind of guy. He's kind of like I think he's about, Bill, don't get mad at me, but 45 to 50. I think that's how old he is, right? So maybe older. He's definitely in his in his 40s, but I think he might be pushing 50. Again, sorry if that's wrong though. But he's a cool guy, and but he's definitely not that. Like, he's definitely not a metalhead. He's rad, but I'd say a bit more like contemporary kind of person. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I was just joking, expecting him to say no. I was like, "Hey, Bill, we're gonna go see this fucking French metal band. You want to come?" And just kind of smiled at him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll go." And he went and bought like a $50 ticket or whatever, and he ended up coming with us, and he fucking loved it. Like, his mind was fucking blown, because they put on a crazy show. They're kind of known to blow bands out of the water. Like, I've seen them a couple times. I saw them open for Mastodon, and they blew Mastodon out of the goddamn water. Like,
good.
Mastodon is a great band to see live, but they're more of a they have lights and fog and shit, but they're more of like a, stand there and play their music very well. They stand there and they play it exactly the way it sounds on the album, and that's great. But Gojira was fucking jumping around, licking their guitars and smiling and running, being crazy people. They're they're fucking they were, and they just fucking they blew Mastodon out of the water, in my opinion. And but this time the most recent time when I saw him with my two friends, I saw him with Bill, and Bill is he's a touring headliner comic. He's had a few different premium blend specials on Comedy Central. And I remember when I was in high school, I remember watching his special. I remember laughing on Comedy Central. And then when I first started comedy, I had a goal to open for somebody that I used to see on Comedy Central when I was young. And that's happened to me a couple times now. So mark that goal off the list. But yeah, I remember seeing him, and then I met him like, "Hey, man," and said, "But I watched you in fucking high school." I was like, in ninth grade. It's only on the TV, but on the TV.
Mom rolled it out for supper.
Yeah, that's hillbilly for television. But yeah, he went to the show, and I remember we were just fucking rocking out. to Gojira, and I looked over at him, and he's like, his mouth like wide open, and his eyes are really big, and he's just like it looked like he was going fast. Like he's like, oh my, like he's having like a
He was going fast.
good time. He's just like his mind was blown because they have this song in one of their older albums that has a really like heavy breakdown, and they played it that night, and I think it was the song that they played on their encore, the first song they came back and they played. And they have these like fog machines that have purple lights on the bottom, and the fog is being shot up straight up, so it's like a tube of like fog of smoke,
Right.
and it's being swirled up like this, so it's like these cones of swirling fog being shot up like this along the stage like that. And to the beat, the three guitar players, two guitar players and the bass player would trade off going forward, like dun 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 dun, and then the fog machines are going off, and then there's like these bright lights going, and it just, they had like a choreographed kind of, not a dance, but they would choreograph it, like they just would go dun dun and walk forward, and then dun 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 dun, and meanwhile there's lights and like purple fog going everywhere, and then Bill's just like his mind's being blown. And it's
That's
fucking
awesome, man.
It was rad. It's kind of hard to explain, but like it was just like the way they did it was so perfect, just like dun, 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 dun.
Right.
So what I'm getting at is like the best thing that France ever gave us was Gojira. So it's about it.
Oh. Fuck them, whatever. I mean, they're not nice people. It's kind of like coming to my area, you know?
Right? Yes.
So like everyone's always like, well, the French are assholes. I'm like, but yet everyone still was vacationing there. You know, people say, hey, you guys up in the Northeast are a bunch of assholes. Be like, well, why are you here?
Yeah, right.
Did you come to see an asshole? Hi. Yeah, so hey, France let out some music. That's cool.
Right. Well, you like your favorite song on the record was The Cell, right? I think that's fair to say.
That's the one that stuck out. There was nothing on the album that I didn't like. I just remember now that I brought that up, I thought at one point I did look down and realize I was listening to like a 13-minute jam. It could have been from another album because, you know, when you finish on Spotify, it sends you to something else.
Yeah,
I recall that now. Now I feel like an idiot for asking, but you're right. That's a good point. So 2 reasons why I like the band. They're uplifting and they have metal jams. So I will be listening to them again.
Yeah, you should check out on the album before this one. I forget what it's called. It's like it's like a tan colored album cover.
Okay.
And it has like different planets on it, and then there's a whale swimming through the planets. And the song on that album you should listen to is called Whales.
Yeah.
It's called Whales, or Whale Song. I think it's called Whales. And it starts off pretty mellow and trippy, and then it gets into it. It kind of psychs you out at different times, like, oh, it's gonna get heavy, and then it doesn't. It's pretty but yeah, it's pretty tight. But my favorite song on the record that we were reviewing was Stranded, the one after The Cell.
Okay.
Track 4. And I like it because I don't know if you remember, but the beginning of the song is fucking awesome. He's keeping beat on the hi-hat, and then he's like, and then the guitar is like dun 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 dun, and then it has like a weird, like they have like do a weird thing on the guitar. It sounds like someone strangling a cat. It's just like dun 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 dun. It's like sounds like someone's playing a kitty cat, like they're pulling on the tail to the beat. Dun 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 dun. Like, yeah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite song on that record. It's fucking.
If it sounds like a cat's being killed, Alex is involved. He wants to hear it.
Fucking cheers, man. But to get into it a little more, you went on a little road trip, right? You fucking took off for a bit.
Yeah, man. I've been on vacation for like, I don't know, a week or two. Who cares? It's been awesome. I'm in transition at my job. So when my kid came to town, I just took the last week and a half off, and we went and did amusement parks. We did Cedar Point in Ohio for 2 days, Kings Island in Ohio for 1 day, and then a place called Kennywood in Pittsburgh.
Oh, wow.
Each park, the first three are all owned by Cedar Fair Corporation. Cedar Point is the mecca of their roller coaster parks. It's giant. The first day, my daughter was keeping track of the steps. She has a period app. She has a period app on her phone. She likes to tell me like how she's getting her information. She couldn't just say I'm counting steps. She's like, my period app tells me how many steps I've walked. And when she tells me, yeah, because ladies have periods. And
that's what
yeah.
you mean. I didn't know what you mean. I thought you meant like the period of like 1886, like the 1800s. Like I didn't know what you.
There's definitely not an app for that.
Yeah, I didn't know there was.
No, I wanted you to ask. I wanted you to ask what fucking period are you talking about? The crustacean? Wait, you're talking about what, art periods? No, we're talking about a woman's period. And
Yeah,
she says this shit to me. It's so randomly. It's just me and her, you know. And I look like half a drug dealer. I look like I sell drugs to kids. And she looks like a kid who buys drugs from a guy from like me. So people don't always think we're a mom, like a dad and a daughter or whatever the fuck.
She kind of looks like the kid that like hires goes and gets the kids to buy the drugs, you know? She looks like the mole, you know?
She is my agent. Yeah. But in any case, she has this thing just randomly where she's like, hey, like we've walked 1,200, what did she say? 12,000 steps. And she's like, thanks to my period app. And I'm just like, look, and people are looking at me, but we're all wearing masks. So I'm just like, You know, I don't know what that means.
Saying about the mask.
So she says random shit like that. So Cedar Point we walked 12,000 steps, give or take. Whereas the last park we went to, we walked like 3,000. So it's an exhausting amusement park. And they're all trying. This is their time to shine and try to stay open. All these amusement parks that are working out. Most of California, the West Coast parks, not open. Right. But these parks are open. And you have to wear a mask the whole time. It was hot as hell. Why did I do it? Nothing else to do. We car camped. We just want to have a vacation, and we like roller coasters, so we did it. And there's other people doing it. But we sweat our asses off. It sucked ass half the time. You're waiting and this and that. But here's the thing that caught me off guard. They're so serious about this mask shit that they're changing all the rules. Well, we got done with a ride, and I'm like, it was raining its ass off the third day, and we rode a ride, and I'm like, hey, where's our ride photo at? And the chick's like looking and looking, and she's like, oh. I'm like, what? She's like, you weren't wearing a mask. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, why would I? Anyway, I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, you have to wear a mask. I was like, that ride has a 300-foot drop. The rain, it's like 3 showers are on. And it was an awesome ride, but I'm not going to eat my mask and pass out. That's what they want you to do. My kid's like, you got to bite your mask. I'm like, no, I'm taking it off. I'm in the back row. If any little drops, any spittle flies out of my mouth, it's not going to kill any human beings. And it didn't. Yeah. We're fine. So here's what pissed me off. The day before, we look at our ride photo, and there's 2 kids in front of us, and they took their shirts off on a different ride. They took their shirts off and threw up gang signs. I don't know any. I'm just sorry. They threw up gang signs, spirit fingers, whatever. So I tell this chick, I'm like, wait a minute. These guys are throwing up gang signs and middle fingers, and they were allowed to buy their photo. And if I bought my photo, that was going to be in the photo because that's how your cameras work. But I have a mask off, and you're all but looking at me like I just set a bunch of people on fire, something terrible. I don't understand. And she's just like, well, that's how serious this is.
Wait. So on that ride, you took off your mask. And so you weren't allowed to get a picture because you had to.
You're not allowed to have your ride photo if you don't have a mask on. Now, my question is, who the fuck wants a fucking picture with a mask anyway? They're $14 a piece. What I didn't want to do was suffocate. It's a wet nurse. You're doing 100 miles an hour. You're dropping 300 feet. I don't want to pass out. I'm a little guy. It could happen. So who wants these photos? Here's my point. Stop with the pictures. Nobody wants to remember COVID. Maybe someone will hide a mask in with their things, with their pictures, and one day be like, Grandpa, why do you have a mask? That's it. No one wants face mask pictures. I'd rather breathe on the ride than pass out, throw up, and have my kid tell a horrible story than this. Then I don't care. It's just crazy to me that that's how important this is. It's like, it's a wet mask. It's fucking dangerous. I couldn't breathe.
Right.
I just didn't understand it. But like, middle fingers and gang signs are okay for pictures, but no mask, no photo.
But
Like,
I just think it's funny that, so whether or not anyone thinks you should be wearing a mask or not, you weren't. It already happened. You put your mask back on, and went over to get your ride photo. So why not just give it to you? It's not hurting anything.
well,
Is it like they're trying to punish you? Like they're trying to be a parent? Like, no, you weren't wearing your mask. Like,
and that's basically how she pushed it, because she was an older woman, and I'm like, ooh, sorry, Nan, whatever. But at the end of the day, I get it. I'm like, okay, if I'm able to walk around and post a picture of me on that ride without a mask, they're fucked, and they're closed. So that's how serious it is. I've never been in a situation where people were so serious about fun.
yeah.
But it's like, I get it. I'm not against it. I didn't just take the mask off to be a dickhead. I took it off because it's wet. I was in the back row. Total logic here. No one else is getting it. But me and the kid, we're fine there. So it was logic. I wasn't disrespectful but I'm just not doing that. And I don't care. I just think it's funny that that's one of the motivators. If you don't wear your mask, you can't have a photo.
Right.
Why don't I just put a pillowcase on my head and start taking pictures for free? At least they're not $14.99 a pop. That's just as, who gives a shit? Tony, it looks like someone was blowing a fucking hot air dryer in your face and spitting on you. That's what this photo looks like while you wore a mask. Because you can't see it doesn't look that great. It's a ride photo. I just think it's stupid as hell. So if you go, bring twice as many joints as you usually bring. That's what I figured out, because they're going to stress you out if you don't. You got to bring things to mellow you out.
So they were just worried about like what they're going to look like on the internet if you were to post that, and so they were worried about themselves. They don't give a shit about your well-being or anything.
None of these assholes care. It's all corporate crap. We know that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute there, Dave. Our numbers are looking a little low here. How are we going to open the parks up? Well, that's a little cold-blooded there, Stan, but let me think. We'll follow all these guidelines, and we'll tell them to sanitize. I felt like I was in prison. Stand on that line. Move up. Before you get on, sanitize. I started taking my clothes off. I'm like, what do you mean? Should I get naked? What? Oh, no, just put hand sanitizer on your hands. What? I don't get it. I don't know. It's fine. I have to get out of the house and do shit. That's why I put myself through these events.
Right.
Tickets are cheaper. Attendance is lower. There's positives to this. There are more cops. So if you are smoking pot, watch your back, because that's not cool. There's no better feeling than when you're in another state and you have a medical card in your state, but you're not in your state. Like, that's a reason to celebrate when your car goes back into your state.
I forget that there's still places in the country that weed is still illegal.
Oh, yeah.
I forget about that because I live in this bubble, this Oregon bubble, where like even when it was, it gave a shit anyway. So like it's like
pass the doji to the left-hand side. Yeah.
Right. I was at a fucking Rite Aid. I was at a store the other day, and they were selling CBD tincture at a fucking like a fucking store. That's how normal it is here. It's just so like, and that's like not technically weed, but it comes from weed, and it does something to your body supposedly. So
I bought some weed lollipops or CBD lollipops. I didn't get it. I still ate all 10 of them, but I just didn't get it.
Sure. I I take it on regularly. I smoke these like CBD like cigarettes. There's no tobacco or chemicals in them. It's CBD hemp, and I don't like if I'm drinking and it's hot out. I just like to look cool in my front yard and smoke something that looks like a cigarette, but it's not. It's just CBD, and I take a tincture. So I do that
Far out,
about
man.
I do the tincture because I got terrible body parts and they hurt all the time. So help a little bit. It's like taking Tylenol. You take it and then the pain usually goes away, or gets numb for a little bit. But it doesn't get you high. It's not supposed to.
What's the fun in that?
Right? So you guys stayed you car camped, huh?
Yeah, that sucked, but it wasn't terrible. It's just that car camping depends on the weather. It was too damn hot. So the one night and then it's camping, and that's what I forgot. It's like you have neighbors,
Oh, so you got like an actual like camping spot.
Yeah, we went to a campground with all that stuff. I mean, a lot of people are doing. It seemed like it was kind of popular camping.
Well, it makes sense. You're outside. It's way harder to get the virus, because you're outside and kind of goes into the fucking air. Supposedly, right. I'm a fucking scientist, so I know everything.
Yeah, you
do. Yeah, you do. But yeah, no, that's cool, man. It seems like people are doing more stuff outside, and that's fucking. We should be doing it anyways,
But it was car camping, so we sweat our asses off. We didn't get a lot of sleep, all that shit. But the third night we did it, we're sitting there, and it's always right as you're about to pass out. And I heard the woman next door, wherever, she was screaming, and she was like, "It's a raccoon! There's a raccoon in the tent!" And I'm like, "Oh, cool, man. We have smart neighbors." Now she was
in the tent. It was in the tent.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. Unless the raccoon came with you guys, and why the hell is there a raccoon in your tent? You always zip up the tent. So they're screaming and yelling, and I'm just laying there listening to it. I'm like, uh-huh. And then she's like, "He's in the marshmallows. Get him out of the marshmallows." And I'm like, fuck, I want some marshmallows. Even if raccoon had, I would have some. And then, so I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden, the one guy's like, "I'm going to kill it." I'm like, what the fuck? And all of a sudden, I'm looking out our back tailgate or whatever, and just looking out, and I see this, like, it looks like a bag of garbage, because it's dark as shit. This bag of garbage just walks to the tree, and then just goes up the tree. And I'm just like, huh, like, I wonder if that was the raccoon. And then this guy just takes his flashlight and just throws it at the tree. He's like, "I see him!" And I'm just like, dude, it's 1 a.m. Like, come on, man. Like, what the fuck?
I hate that when something, something like that is happening to you, but you're still not being courteous. I get if someone has a gun, all right, be loud, and they're pointing it at you, sure. But like, it's an animal. It's at where it's supposed to be, actually.
Yeah, you are in its neighborhood.
Yeah, like, and that lady was saying, "There's a raccoon in our tent." The raccoon's probably saying, "There's a tent in my yard."
Like, no shit.
Like,
and they brought marshmallows.
Yay! We don't have to fucking dig it out of a garbage can. It's fresh out of the bag.
You know what?
Crumbs. Let's get them.
You know what? I hate tents, but I love marshmallows.
But I love marshmallows. These people
all worked out, kids. Yeah. And then the cherry on top was, after all that settled down, I'm almost there, man. I'm in my bliss. I got the back hood hatch open because it's too hot, and I'm worried about this raccoon climbing in the car, but I'm passing out. And then all of a sudden, no shit, I wake up and I see a cop car right in front of our shit. And I'm a pothead, so I'm just always paranoid. I'm like, oh, they caught me. I'm going to jail. I haven't even smoked in like 6 hours. And I'm like, yeah, they got me. So then there's 3 more that pull up. I'm like, oh shit, like, I'm really in trouble. All of a sudden, I'm just listening, kind of like just laying there listening to them, whatnot. And then she's like, well, did y'all find him? And the police are like, well, we're not sure. And then she's like, well, there's definitely some stuff missing. And the guy's like, well, how much did he take? And she's like, well, a couple $100 is missing. And just talk about all the stuff out of her car. And I'm just like, fuck? I'm like, what's going on? And finally they're like, and then someone was like, I think we saw him over in the other lot. I didn't know what the fuck they're talking about. I think we saw him in the other lot. And I was so frustrated. I was like, he's not in the other lot. He's up that fucking tree. And they weren't talking about the raccoon. They were talking about some guy who broke into that chick's car and stole some shit. And there was a thief running around the campground. And I'm like, I had no idea. I'm like, he's up the tree. And then you just see all these flashlights like go to the tree. But they didn't know who said it because I'm laying in my car. They don't.
Oh man, you could have fucked with them so bad. Like, they're looking at the tree like, no, the other tree. They go to that tree.
But when they shine their lights with their pistols and shit, I'm like, whoa. Back to bed.
That's funny.
Fuck yeah.
It's a fucking raccoon with marshmallows all over his face and a wad of money running around.
I know, right?
A tiny little gun, like running around.
He's got $300 marshmallows and a season pass to Cedar Point. He's on it.
He's on.
He has a good haul. That was just a Tuesday night for the raccoon. That's awesome.
Right.
Imagine
so
yields.
So you traveled with your daughter, who was 15, right?
Yeah, Jesse's now 15 years old, which is still blowing my mind every day.
Right.
But no rap sheet yet, knock on wood. So we're good. TV tray. She's outspoken like I am, but I'm not a female. Believe it or not. So I'm not ready for the shit that comes out of her mouth. Like last night we were just chilling and she took off today, so we were just saying our goodbyes or whatever, and then we're getting water or something, and she's like, damn, it's like my ovaries hurt. I'm like, huh? I'm like, yeah, me too. Like, the fuck? I don't know what to say to that. I mean, it's inappropriate for me to be like, yeah, my ball bag is just fucking,
I know, right? Yeah.
It's just dragging. I was like, hey, and you want to be a good, she's like, you're a great dad. And then when she said that, I'm like, I'll settle for good dad because I don't know what to fucking say to this. Like, what do you mean? Feel better? You want a popsicle? Which one more?
You want a popsicle?
I said that. I'm like, you want a popsicle? That usually helps me when my ovaries hurt. I don't know. That's in your ovaries are in your throat, right? Is that where they are?
Yeah, it's in your throat. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's fun. It's fun as hell. And she's maturing, which is awesome. She's actually saying things that are intelligent and kind of make sense, which blows my mind. Especially since she's hung around me so often. I'm like, wow, right on, man. You're all right. But yeah, just the shit that comes out of her, like anybody would say, the stuff that comes out of their kid's mouth. But like we were at the amusement park, and she's like she's not an instigator, but she's not really screwing around. There were some people that you have the 6-foot rule. So when you're at the amusement park, you stand on these little markers. And she was like, these people keep getting close behind us. And I was like, yeah. And I'm like, well, they're idiots. And she's like, yeah. And we keep going, and they keep getting close to us. She's like, turns around. She's like, no offense, but do we know you? And they're like, and they looked at it. These are kids. These are like 19-year-old college kids. Who knows? But they're being ignorant. They're being ignorant because they're not paying attention. Everyone else is. And they turn and they're like, well, we're not sure. She's like, well, you don't look familiar. And are you definitely not? And she said this, she's like, I've never seen you in a family photo. So do you mind backing up away from mine? And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And then they looked at me. And they looked at me, and I was just like, I didn't say shit.
If there was ever any doubt, she is definitely your kid.
And all they see is my shoulders just doing this shit because I'm laughing at my mask. I'm like,
Right?
Like, what are you gonna do?
Like I know you guys. I've known Jessie, since she was like 5 or 6, probably, right? So
Oh yeah.
so I've seen her grow, like get older and like get more like vocal towards people. Even when she said hi to me a couple of weeks ago on Zoom, she was just like, "Hey man," and I'm like, "Hey, what's up, man?" She's like, "You've gotten old," or says something like that. She's like, "Hey, what's up, old man?" Like, like, yeah, that's definitely Tony's daughter. That's for sure.
That's what I'm putting out there, folks. Just a little ball buster for everyone to have fun with.
Yeah.
That's what I think the world needs.
That's funny. Hey, do we know you? He's clever too, man. Like well, I don't remember seeing you in family photos. So you mind getting out of mine? That's good. That's clever shit.
All that without cussing. That's what's funny.
I know what you mean by like women that you live with or that you're close with talking about their period, because I live with 2 sisters, and when it's that time, all they say in the top of their lungs is like, my period, fuck, like
like they stubbed their toe.
Yeah, they're like, God damn it.
Somebody move the coffee table, I just got my period, fuck.
I know, like when they say that, they sound like me, they sound like a 33-year-old fat man, like, God damn it. I'm bleeding.
Oh fuck. Who is it? My favorite period joke is from Margaret Cho, where she said, she talked about if men had their period, that their apartment looked like a crime scene. There'd just be bloody socks and shit strewn all over the apartment. That's fucking great. That's my favorite. She's absolutely right. But it's just, women are so nonchalant about it, and like, men aren't allowed to say much anything anymore without getting slapped around a little bit. So when I hear that, I'm just like, yeah.
I know, like it'd be like if I was like,
for dinner? I don't know.
Right? It'd be like if I haven't cranked one out in like a week or 2. It'd be like if I was like, man, I need to come. Oh, God. They're like, ew. And I'm like, yeah, man, I just need to,
Just need to shoot a couple ropes across the living room, then I can go to work.
Right, like.
Nasty motherfucker. It's a double standard, Alex. We can't just yell about needing to come.
No, I know. Men in the world we live in obviously have it way easier than women. I get that, but I'm just saying, there's some things that don't that we don't get to do, which is fine. I'm not trying to fucking bellyache about it. I'm just saying it's funny to me. Like, I got a story about that. All right. This might be a little much, but gonna do it anyway. I was dating someone, won't say their name, but you know who they are, Tony. Was dating them kind of around the first part of like the beginning part of when we moved to Portland. And we were dating, and they were visiting because they didn't live in Portland. They were visiting Portland, and they said, well, I just got a new sex toy, right? Just got a new sex toy. And I was like, well, we should use it, right? And she was like, no, it might intimidate you. It's kind of big. And I was like, well, yeah, I don't expect you to get a dildo that's 6 inches long. Like, what's the point of getting a dildo that's the same size as your partner? Like, no, you're going to get a bigger one. Yeah, I expect that. You should. She's like, no, it's way bigger than you. I don't want you to see it. And I'm like, well, okay. So basically, she told me that I have a small dick, is what she was saying, right? In so many words, that's what she said.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I said, because it was already after we had like hooked up, went and danced with the devil a little bit already. And and then I said something similar to her, but it packed more of a punch because I was a guy saying it to a woman. She said, "Well, it's a lot bigger than yours." And I said, "Well, that makes a lot of sense why your pussy's stretched out."
Ah!
But I said the same thing, the equivalent of the same thing that she said to me. But she got mad at me and was like, the rest of the time she was hanging out when and it kind of aided to one of the reasons why we broke up. Like she didn't like, but every time I've told that story to people, they go, "Oh, damn, I can't believe you said that." I'm like, yeah, she said the same thing to me. What am I going to do? Say, "Oh, thank you for the small dick comment. Thank you very." No,
Yeah.
that's what you do. And plus, I'm a comic. I was then. You can't say that shit to a comic. They're going to go. The goal is when someone heckles you, and to me, that was a heckle.
Yes.
Someone heckles you, you try to kill it. You try to, like, metaphorically chop their head off, you know? You try to end it. So that's just my example of sometimes you can't say the same thing to a woman, the same thing that she says to you. You know what I mean? So that's just my example.
Right. Yeah. Jessie didn't laugh when I told her my period hurt too, my ovaries.
Right.
She didn't laugh.
Right.
So you're
She's
right.
like,
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. That's funny. We'll talk about the dick thing another time because that's like an hour worth of material. But there's a double standard there all the time. It's just like, sure. I just want something bigger. Like I just want something that doesn't talk. So we both have needs. I totally get it. You should go get that, and then I'll be here, and you won't. Yeah, it'll be bigger, and then over here it'll be quieter. So it all worked out.
Over there it'll be bigger. No, over here will be quieter. It's a win-win for everybody, really.
This is what. Listen, it doesn't bother me that I'm not King Dingaling. I'm totally cool with that. I got a big mouth, and I eat great pussy from what I'm told. At least I used to. These days I watch my calorie count. But listen, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not having it because I'm 40 years old. My hips feel like they're 100 years old. I got no more pushing for your cushion. I don't care if it's a foot long or 3 feet long. You ain't getting it. I ain't doing it no more. I ain't pushing for an hour. I got to work. I got to stand up. I can't be stretching in front of my customers. They don't know what I'm doing. It doesn't make sense because I don't sell anything to do with stretching. So I'm not doing that shit. I don't care. You want a big old, I like that you put it on your OnlyFans page. I like that it's on Reddit. Thank you for sharing. But I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to see you remove a dinosaur from the middle between your legs and then say, who's next? Not me. I'm not in. No way. You wouldn't even know. It wouldn't even matter. So if you're that's what they call them, size queens. You're a size queen. It's like, no. You start out small and then you go up. That's what it is. Every girl starts out like a normal penis. I was told when I was 16 I had a big dick. And that was the last time. Because that was her first time.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's new to you.
That's right. It's not big at all. He's never grown. I measure him every day. He gets shorter and shorter. Just like old people. That's how dicks work. They get shorter and shorter.
Yeah. Eventually your dick just turns into like a lowercase c, Yeah. Just cripples over and uses a walker, so.
If you could get away with the measurement between your penis and the bottom of your ball bag, if that measurement meant anything, woo, watch out. That's something, right. But it doesn't. So how far can I drop my balls? Nope, that doesn't matter. Okay, whatever. So thank God for big toys. It's right on, man. Just don't, don't ask me to, I'm not going to get involved after that. Like, what do you want, my sneaker? Because I'm not going to be able to do anything in there.
Right.
I got a Reebok over here. He's a real pleaser. He'll use his own shoes, whatever it takes.
Hey, these boots are made for fucking. You know what I mean?
That's just what they'll do. That's cool, man. Ladies, do your thing. It's all right. At the end of the day, I don't care.
Yeah.
Little penis and a little show.
It's about time that we went into heavy dick talk.
Oh, okay. Heavy. Is that another way to say it? Like, what if it wasn't measurements? What if it was weight? What if you weighed your genitalia?
I know, right? Like fucking what do I got? Like 2 grams or something?
I know, right? Old quarter pounder over there. Not if he's got the not if he's got the cheese. Ew.
What if they
that's the other thing. Here's the other thing, folks. There's a lot of amazing penises out there. And the more amazing it is, the more people seem to use it. And the more people seem to use it, the more likely it is to get the cheese. Ew. So just remember, if it has high mileage, you might want to check that shit before you go hopping on it.
Amen, sister. Amen.
It don't matter. I'm not going to be nasty, but if it's seized up, honey, it don't matter no more. Don't matter. That's where I come in. Nasty talk.
Heavy dick talk. Hi, welcome. That's Alex and Tony.
That's the name of our episode. Heavy dick talk.
From P100. Welcome to Heavy Dick Talk.
That's the name of the show.
Heavy Dick Talk. What if they measured dicks the way they used to measure pot back in the day? Like here's a dime, a 20, an eighth. They're like, ooh.
That's a 3-finger dick there.
That's a 3-finger dick. Look at that.
I really hope someone that I don't want to see this sees this.
Oh, that's the whole point, Tony.
I know. But this one. What do you think about the heavy dick bit? Do you weigh your genitalia? You start. It's a new trend.
Oh
man.
Well, speaking of a heavy dick, I think we're about there for an episode. What do you think, Tony?
Yeah, man. I had fun. I hope everyone that watches it does too.
Yeah, man. Fucking
especially with the heavy dick talk at the end there.
It's your turn. I know I'm pointing my razor at everyone.
It looks good.
By the way, I was shaving at the beginning of the episode because as soon as Tony and I logged on, I noticed my mustache was longer on one side, and that's why I kept on fucking with it. Sorry if it annoyed anyone, but through the whole episode, I kept on. I shaved like 2 hours ago, and then we logged on, and I looked. I'm like, "Fuck, it's longer." And Tony's like, "Yep, that's longer." So I was really, honestly, it wasn't a joke. I really was trimming it up a little bit.
I think it looks good. You have a second opinion plus our 20 viewers, so you're good.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, that's not bad.
Right. So for this week, I picked one of my personal favorites, MGMT's album, Ocular Spectacular.
Ocular Spectacular.
It's got a lot of MGMT's hits on it, but it is an awesome record through and through. So,
okay. So it's like a greatest hits kind of thing?
No. This was their first record.
The
first record. The one that had all the big hits on it. It's their breakout record.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So check it out. It's not metal, but it's fun. You can do drugs on it. So check it out.
Fucking A. Well, cool. Sounds good. We'll listen to that, and then you'll hear about it next episode. So yeah, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification on YouTube. Check out Instagram and Facebook. Yeah. Thanks for watching. This is the future.
Unfortunately,